And we had a lot of people that are starting to get very angry, especially after all of this desert and all the troubles they had already gone through. Um, Going up one of the mountains in Nevada, John Snyder, which was what they call a mule skinner, with one of the other families, and Reed were going up together with their oxen, and the oxen became entangled with each other. John Snyder was a hot-tempered fellow, and he decided to get his bullwhip out and start beating on the oxen. The oxen, of course, couldn't do anything. They were all tangled up. So James Reed said, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. It might be another way of taking care of this problem. And so John Snyder got angry and started hitting him with the bullwhip, which really infuriated James Reed, and he pulled his big knife out and stabbed him. He didn't mean to kill him, but he did. He did kill him. The whole party was in an uproar. They were not sure what they were going to do. They finally decided, well, we're either going to hang James Reed or lynch him and or just exile him. So that's what they did. So they gave him a horse. His family gave him later down the trail food and a gun, but they just put him on a horse and said, go on to California or go wherever you need to go. So it was a fortunate thing that happened, because he was able to get to Sutter's Fort before everybody else, and he was able to tell Sutter about the problems that were happening up here in the mountains and how he could get relief. So this was quite a blessing for him. The party continued on. When they got stuck was in 1846, Halloween. It was starting to snow. The Donners were at Alter Creek at that time. They were a little bit ahead of the party. His main wagon wheel axle broke, and he had to repair it because this was his main wagon. In trying to repair the axle, he cut his hand really badly, and he was just taking way too long for this procedure. The rest of the group saw what was going on and decided to move on to try to get over Highway 40, which is Donner Summit. And once they got up to that point, it would be downhill, and it was 100 miles, and they could get to Sutter's Fort. So they proceeded onward. The Donners, Jacob and George Donner and their families consisted of about 25 people, and the rest of the group went up to this area. They got halfway up Highway 40 up to the summit, and it was snowing so difficultly, and they couldn't even make the trail out. So they decided to retreat here to the lake, and they hoped that it would be just a couple of days and they could proceed. Well, it didn't happen. It snowed for 10 days. They had 15 feet of snow, and they were stuck. The Donners were stuck at Alder Creek Road, and the Murphys, the Breens, the Graves, and the Reeds were all stuck here. And they were stuck here for 4.5 months. The snow is so bad that no rescue party could even start until February. Plus, we were at war with the Mexican nation in California. So all troops, all men, were all in Los Angeles area fighting all the Mexicans. So to try to raise a group together for a rescue was a big undertaking. And Reed did his best to get it all together. The first rescue was February 18th, 1847. They got to this area. They got as many people as they could, but they had to be able to walk. So if you weren't able-bodied or if you were a child, you couldn't go. So they got quite a few people out. There was another rescue just about 2 weeks later, and they had another one about a month later after that. The fourth rescue, there was mainly with a cleanup rescue, which was April, late April, and that's when they rescued Louis Keithford, and he was the last survivor. He had been surviving on eating the dead bodies. The legacy of the Donner Party is the survival. It's amazing that out of 91 people, 49 people survived. When they were rescued, they were all able to go to the Sacramento Valley. And because they were given free land, all of them became very prosperous in every undertaking that they had. This is California State Park. This is where the Donner Party was, and in camp. And this is one thing we love to tell our tourists that come through. And you're actually walking in the steps of history. We also have campgrounds. We have 150 sites that's open between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and sometimes into September. And we are expecting any time in September snow, so we had to be sure and close the park. And we're hoping next year to have our larger museum open, which will be 3 times as big. So we're really excited about that.
Great.